very good evening to you tuned in to UBC TV. Thank you so much for making us part of your evening. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumwa, coming in with our weekly talk show, Pick a Point, this Friday, the 17th actually, of September, 17th of October, 2019, I beg your pardon. Yes. Just a few weeks ago, Government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Health, came up with a program to immunize all the children below the age of 15 against the rubella, stroke measles, German measles kind of scourge. And we're going to know how they came up with this program and why are we coming up with such a program is because there have been complaints all over the country amongst parents, probably because they did not understand or because they have points in their complaints. They think the drugs are not okay, our children will get sick, our children are going for P7 UNEB examinations, so they need to be given their time. Our children were immunized when they were still babies against measles. How do we want that to be an overdose? You have an opportunity to watch this show and get to understand exactly what vaccines are going to be used on our children and how will they be. Why do you think we are? Why do I have to tell you you're going to have the right information? With me, I have a senior pediatric, Dr. Anne Akulo. She's also the vice president of the Uganda Pediatric Association. And Doctor, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Good evening.
Good evening, Michael.
Yes, have you had these complaints all over?
Yes, I have had the complaints and I have had calls from concerned parents and teachers as well.
Okay.
And we've been addressing these complaints throughout the time, from the time the campaign kicked off on Wednesday, and throughout the campaign we've been addressing this complaint.
Those that have called you, what is the point in their complaints? What do they say?
So most of them haven't been really complaints, they've been clarifications and questions.
Okay.
And I had a parent asking me, my child received the measles vaccine before, should I give them, would it be helpful or would it be harmful to give them the vaccine? And then of course others asked about the repeated vaccinations.
Yes.
A few are concerned about the side effects to the children. Yes, and we've been addressing this complaint, these concerns, and once they're addressed and the information is passed out there, then the public, the general public understands.
Okay. Now, let us start from here. What exactly is rubella?
Okay. So, I like that question because people are more familiar with measles, because we've known measles over time, and rubella seems to be something new.
Yes.
Rubella is a virus just like measles, okay? I mean, in certain settings, we will make it fun.
We must understand by the end of, we must have understood by the end of this show.
So it is a virus very similar to measles. Actually, its other name is German measles. Okay. The difference between its presentation is similar to that of measles. It will present with red eyes. It will present with a skin rash as well. It will present with a fever as well, with headache. What is different between it and measles is that it's kind of milder in its presentation.
What is that?
So mild means it doesn't make the child or the person as sick as measles would make you. Yeah. So in its presentation, it seems to be the quieter cousin of measles.
Okay.
But in addition, it will also present with swelling of, what we call lymph nodes, the things you get, say, when you cut your hand and you get a swelling in your armpit or something. So the rubella virus will also present with those swellings, and most of the time the swellings are behind the ear, on the back of the head, around the neck, and it may also present with enlarged organs. But, okay, having said that, it seems to be the milder form. It presents in a milder way. It has an effect, a very detrimental effect on the unborn child. Should a pregnant mother contract measles, rubella, especially in the early first few months of pregnancy, she has a very high chance of passing on the virus to the unborn child. Yes, it can pass via the placenta. So ordinarily, between me and you or between one child to another, rubella is transmitted. It's airborne. You breathe it in, okay? So somebody has the
Because I was
virus.
going to
is
ask you how is
sneezing.
it spread?
So it's spread by, it's airborne, okay? Just like measles. Like I said, they're very similar diseases, yeah? And somebody has the virus, sneezes, another person catches it, and that's how it spread. That's how it goes on in the population, okay? That is one way. The other way it can spread is from mother to unborn child via the cord, the placenta that connects the mother and child. So a sick mother can actually pass on the virus. And the chances of passing on the virus to the unborn child is actually very high, up to 90% in the early few months of pregnancy. And the effects it has on the unborn child are actually very, very detrimental effects. There is what we call, I'm going to try to use as simple terms as possible.
That would
okay?
be so beautiful.
Yes, so I'm not going to complicate it with jargon or anything,
Yes.
but some of the effects include a small brain, a small head, okay? So the children who are born with this, of course, also have a small brain, so they have developmental problems.
A baby born by a victim mother of
So if the mother suffered rubella
yes,
during her early months of pregnancy, she has a very high chance of passing the virus to the unborn child.
yes.
Yes?
And what you're telling us now
Is the
are
effects
the effects.
of this virus on this
Onto the
unborn
baby.
child,
Beautiful.
okay? We'll start, let me start with the effects of this virus on the pregnancy itself, okay? So the pregnancy may end as, like the baby is stillbirth, you will give birth to a dead baby, or the mother may get a miscarriage, okay? All right? Or will get a preterm delivery and have premature baby, okay? That is the effect on the pregnancy. But now the effect on the child. If the child is carried through to term and is born alive, then there are effects on the child. One of them is a small head, a small brain with mental growth, mental retardation, basically poor performance, developmental problems. They don't crawl in time, they don't do all what a child is supposed to do on time, okay? The other thing is the heart defects, okay? Right now, actually, statistics in the Uganda Heart Institute show a very large number of children who are born with heart disease. Actually, it's being attributed to the rubella, okay? So you get a heart disease, the child is born with a heart disease, and there are different types of heart disease, holes in the heart, okay? Just putting it simply like that. Then the other things are things like blindness, effects on the eyes, okay? These children can be blind. The other thing is deafness, okay? Effects on the hearing of the child. So this child with who is born after a mother has suffered rubella during the pregnancy can have all these complications. And now imagine if you have that child with all these complications.
Yes.
I mean, you have to take care of this child. They're not going to be able to do so much for themselves. You will be in hospital with this child all the time because we know what heart disease does to children. We know what hearing and eye problems do to children, okay? So these are children who will be children with special needs, okay? So this virus, okay, is causing actually a lot of damage to our unborn children, yeah?
Okay.
And hence needs to, that's the reason, it's one of the things why we need to address
Thank you so much,
the
Doctor.
virus, yeah.
Have we had rubella in Uganda?
Yes,
Out of our know, and we just had the disease and we didn't know about it.
okay, so rubella has actually been,
Or we are trying to prevent something that we have learned about that may affect us anytime from now.
okay, so rubella has actually been in Uganda for some time, okay? Initially there were one-off cases here and there, but from about 2016 when this measles outbreak started, cases of rubella were also beginning to be noticed. And from 2016 to now, the cases of rubella have actually been increasing and increasing and increasing. And currently, I think the most recent statistics show that up to 59 districts have reported rubella, okay, outbreak. So there is actually an outbreak of both measles and rubella. So it's not a myth. It's not like we're preventing something that we think will happen.
Okay.
It has already happened. The country is actually experiencing outbreaks of rubella, and hence part of this campaign is actually to put a stop to the outbreak of the measles and the rubella.
Now, we have had the disease already here. In the first place, how have you been treating it?
So rubella.
What kind of treatment has been given to the victims that we had already registered?
So rubella is a viral disease, and most viral infections do not have drugs that target them. We trust in the body's immunity to fight them off, okay? And hence, the way we treat, that's why we emphasize immunization, because there is no treatment. Once you catch the disease, there is no treatment. If you have a fever, we'll give you Panadol. If you have a headache, we'll give you, and we treat like the complications as they come. But there is no drug or no anti-rubella drug that I can give you and say, now you've got rubella, let me give you this, you know, like malaria. You get malaria, there's an anti-malaria, I give you the anti-malaria, it kills the malaria, and you get better. Now, rubella unfortunately doesn't have this, okay? We can't prevent it with a vaccine, okay? Which we give to your body so that your body builds an immune response against it. But once you catch it, there is no medication that treats it. We just treat the symptoms and ask you to drink a lot, treat the complications and symptoms as they come, and you go through
So
the
it
recovery
is
phase.
only the vaccination or immunization
Yes.
that gives the mitigative measure
Yes.
that
So,
can help you prevent and stop
yes.
the dangers of the disease
Of the
to put you
disease.
down.
Exactly. So the vaccine is given to you so that your body builds like soldiers to fight it, okay? So when we introduce a vaccine, it's a substance we introduce into your body, okay? Then it triggers your body to fight. Your body looks at the vaccine and it recognizes it as the disease, because the vaccine usually resembles the disease. It's either a part of the disease or a dead bit of the disease. So the body recognizes this vaccine as a disease. Then what it does, it triggers its entire system, okay, of responding to a disease, okay? Remember, it's not the disease, but the body recognizes it is similar because it's usually a part of it, okay, or a dead bit of, or one that is not enough to make you sick, yeah? And the body recognizes it, okay, develops a response to it, and after developing that response, okay, so it acts as if you had got a disease and you were sick, it responds to it, but then it keeps what we call antibodies, okay, something in the memory, such that tomorrow when the real disease comes, okay, they're already soldiers that were already triggered, ready to fight that disease,
Yes.
okay? Let me give you an example, say a terrorist attack, okay? So the country goes on a terrorist alert, such that the next terrorist attack doesn't catch you unaware. So that is how vaccines work. It kind of makes the body alert, prepares its soldiers, prepares it to fight. So
Ready
it
for
has
whatever will
ready for whatever comes. So when the real disease comes, the body is ready. The body will look, oh, we know that thing, and then sends off its antibodies.
You said we first noticed cases in 2016.
No, the cases, I'll correct you, the cases have been there like sporadically in different clinics, noticed, just reported by, say, individual doctors here
Yes.
and there in different clinics.
Fine, but what I want to bring
before.
out is here.
But the outbreaks were noticed first with the measles outbreak that is out. The cases of rubella also started being recorded. And for the past 3 years, the cases have actually they've been monitored. You know, the Ministry of Health has a way of monitoring these outbreaks. And they began to monitor and do tests, okay? Every time something is reported, tests are taken, they're taken to the lab, tests are done to confirm. So they started to monitor, and we realized that the cases of rubella have actually been increasing.
Right.
And there are people who do research, who do surveillance, okay, and keep the Ministry of Health informed. of
Thank
what
you,
is
because
going
what I
on.
want to bring out, should we say that the first cases caught us unaware? How come we didn't know about rubella? Most especially as a system of Ministry of Health and all of you doctors for children and for everyone.
So we knew about rubella, just like we know about malaria. These are diseases that are there, viruses, but it wasn't causing such a big impact as we are seeing now, and the cases were not as many, okay, as we are seeing now, okay?
Okay.
So it's with this upsurge of cases and everything, it has become very important that we put a stop to it. Otherwise, it will cause very detrimental effects on the general
Thank you so much,
population. Yes.
Dr. Akulo. Now,
Yeah.
let's talk about the vaccination. Actually, I would ask you why now, but you have explained everything. How is this vaccination administered? Let us start with the type of the drugs that are used. There are cases of drugs, questionable drugs, and people coming out and apologize over drugs. That has caused, is part of what has caused the too much complaints and concerns among the public.
Okay.
What drugs are used
So
in the rubella vaccination?
So in any vaccination, in like what I was explaining earlier, a vaccine is something that usually mimics the real disease, okay? So usually the vaccine is either a particle from the disease, okay? Or a piece of a protein from the disease, okay? Or the dead disease, okay? Or a live disease which has been killed, like it has been, let's say, collapsed to an extent that it cannot cause you a disease, okay? The idea of the vaccine, so it's not a drug like Panadol or
like
something, or chloroquine or Panadol or a
Fentanyl
chemical
or
from a
whatever.
plant. It's actually some particle, some piece of protein or something
Of the very problem.
of the very problem, so that your body recognizes it as the very problem, but it's not enough to make you sick. It's just enough to trigger your body, but it does not make you sick. You get the point? Yeah?
So the body gets used.
So the body
this.
looks at it and it, let's say, let me give you an example. Say if you have, I'm trying to look for a very good example. Say a doll or a teddy bear that's almost lifelike, that looks, you know, almost lifelike. So the body sees that, okay, and recognizes it as rubella. So it mounts a response against it and produces its soldiers, such that tomorrow, when the real disease comes, okay? So basically the vaccine of rubella is actually from the rubella virus itself, okay? But it's not, it doesn't make you sick, okay? It just triggers your body to mount an immune response, okay, against the rubella virus. Okay, I don't want to use the word mount, to produce soldiers or to produce fighters, such that tomorrow when the real rubella virus comes, it finds your body prepared. And these vaccines go through a lot of testing. Like in development of any drug or in development of any vaccine, there's a lot of testing. There are trials, there are phases of trials before it's introduced into the general population. And by the time it comes to the general population, it should be approved by the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, must have approved it. And by the time it's approved by the World Health Organization, there are again very, very stringent measures, tests. There's so many things that go through animal trials, before a vaccine becomes approved for use
to be
in
administered on
humans.
human beings.
Yes. Okay. And so just to go back to you alluded earlier. So the measles, the rubella vaccine has actually been used in other countries before. Okay.
Now, this could then be the reason as to why people are complaining, because probably maybe they had a hint, but the vaccination actually is the real rubella kind of element.
No, so I'm clearing it. It is not the disease that will make you sick. Okay? Yeah. It is part of it that is going to help you trigger. Okay, that's going to trigger your body to produce soldiers against the disease.
This is not the first time people are complaining about vaccination. I remember I was still in school and there were vaccinations against polio, the Kick Polio Out of Uganda kind of program. There were complaints amongst the public. Why do you think our people always have the mistrust and things like that about you people that administer this?
Okay, I think one of the causes for mistrust would be the lack of information. Okay, so once, like I told you, we've been addressing these concerns throughout since the campaign kicked off, and once the public was well informed and given the information and the knowledge, then the mistrust goes down. So I think it's really spreading and giving the right information out there that is partly the cause. Yeah.
You emphasized rubella being so dangerous to mothers,
To the unborn
expectant
child.
mother, to the unborn child. So the vector now, if I'm to carry that kind of a term, is the mother carrying the baby, because it's her that contracts the disease and carries it onto the child.
Okay.
Why are we seeing the immunization being so much onto the children?
Okay.
And not the mothers that are expected to get pregnant anytime or even pregnant currently?
Okay, so the reason the children are being targeted is because through the surveillance, we looked at the different age groups that are most affected in this outbreak, and the most affected age group was actually from the age group that is being immunized right now to that is the age group of up to 15 years. Okay, that is the most affected age group. If this age group doesn't have rubella, there is no reason the mother should contract the virus. So the most affected age group was this age group that is being vaccinated now. Yes, more common in like the younger children, but it has spread all the way up to the 15-year-olds and above. So this bulk is the age group that's being targeted for vaccination so that we stop the outbreak. Once we stop the outbreak, then the pregnant mother and whoever else is at risk is not going to catch it if we have immunized the age group that is most affected. Yeah.
Okay, because when the babies get it,
you transmit it. It's airborne
disease.
So you transmit it to the pregnant mother.
Is
or to
that
whoever.
enough to keep these mothers safe?
Yes. If we eliminate the outbreak, then we are safe. Then the mothers are safe. There is an aspect of when we vaccinate a very big number, transmission from, say, if you got the virus.
Of the prone group.
Yes. Of the prone group, of the group that is suffering it now. Let me give an example. If I vaccinated everyone who is affected or who is catching it now, and say you got the virus for some reason, I don't know, you traveled, you were not vaccinated, and then this entire group is vaccinated and the unvaccinated mother is several miles away, there is no way they're going to catch it because you would not be able to transmit it across all these vaccinated people. And that is something we call, that's the aspect of herd immunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is it administered?
Okay. So the measles, so now I'm going to talk about the rubella vaccine.
Yes.
Right now the rubella vaccine that we are giving is in combination with measles, okay? So it's the measles rubella vaccine.
Why?
You get me?
Why are they combined?
Okay. So if you realize previously we have combinations of vaccines even to reduce on the number of injections given, and it's safe to combine them. Yeah. So this vaccine is given by injection just under the skin and the fat layer, okay, not in the muscle. So it's injected in the left upper arm, okay, using a very tiny needle. You've seen the insulin needles, very tiny, 0.5 mils, okay. So it's injected in the left upper arm, okay, just under the skin, not in the muscle. Yeah, and that's how it's administered. So it's administered through injection.
You are a doctor for children.
Yes.
What are the side effects? First of all, are there chances of it affecting the child in any way?
So like any drug, there are side effects to any drug that's given. And how do these side effects arise? They arise, say, if you have allergy, okay, to any preservative in the vaccine, okay, or from the effect of the vaccine. Like I told you, the vaccine is triggering the body to respond. And your body usually responds by producing chemicals, and some of those chemicals will bring fever, okay? So one of the effects would be a fever, okay? The other effect would be just pain at the site, pain and swelling, just like we've seen children who have injections on their thighs. So they get pain, they get swelling, they get a fever, but that's your body responding, okay? And then, because like I told you, it's similar to the virus, it may give you a rash, like a rubella-like rash or measles-like rash, but this is usually very short-lived. They are mild, they last a short time, it's your body really responding, and those are some of the side effects.
But you know, in most cases we have kids that go through different kind of things, who live in different environments.
Yeah.
Somebody, like you say, you talked of allergy and whatever, but somebody had some kind of a cold, somebody has cough, like, you know, school environment especially.
Okay.
Somebody has some fever already, and here comes this injection. So how would you advise their parents then?
So if you have a mild illness, okay, like a cold,
By the time you get this
a
injection.
cough, no, like say you're ready for you've come for immunization and you have a cough, you have a mild illness, you're sneezing and running up and down, you have a flu, that's a mild illness. It's not going to compromise your immune system, yeah, or your responsiveness. So yes, you can get the vaccine. If you're very sick, admitted, okay, or for some reason, let me give the example, say like the cancer patients who are receiving medicine that already suppresses or lowers their immunity, okay, the severely sick people, okay, those are exempted until they get better, okay.
So there are exceptions. There are people that can be.
Yes, there are people who can, and
Let
I
us
have
get
given
the
you
detail of that.
Okay.
The detail of that.
So I've given you the categories, and this category cuts across all immunizations. Okay, there are people who can be exempted, not just for this campaign, across all immunizations. Okay, if you are taking, let me start with the cancer patients who are taking medicine. Okay, that is already, because the cancer drugs already suppress your immunity so much. Okay. So that is one of them, the patients on cancer treatment or on any medicine that suppresses your immunity. And those are just a handful. Those are very few, and they're very selected cases, okay? Then the very sick patients, okay, who are in the hospitals, who are admitted and who have serious, severe illness, those are exempted. But the minor, mild illnesses, the flu, the mild fever. So we have HIV patients on antiretroviral therapy. Those patients have a good immunity. They're taking antiretroviral therapy and they're supposed to get vaccinated.
Okay.
Unless they are severely sick, severely immune suppressed, then yes. But if they're taking their medication, their antiretroviral therapy, their immunity is good and it's up there, they need to get the vaccine.
Give a piece of advice to a parent whose child will get that reaction of the body, a fever, a rash, and you know such things still treat every child differently. Somebody will get it and it will put him down for a week and things like that.
So like I said,
there are now two categories of children. There are those whose bodies will react and it will be mild, like you're saying, and there are those who will really be affected. Before we take the break.
Okay, so most of the reactions are actually mild, okay? For those who get the severe reactions, we advise them to seek medical help immediately. Okay, and even while we're vaccinating, we ask, the vaccination teams have been trained to actually identify, okay, these reactions or these adverse events. They are trained to identify them, okay, and the patients, the people who are vaccinated are actually monitored for brief periods, but we tell the parents or the, whose children have been immunized, if they notice anything unusual, make a phone call. Okay, or to the teams that are there immunizing, we leave the numbers with them, or seek medical care immediately at the nearest health facility.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akulo. And we are still getting the facts about the rubella, the ongoing rubella vaccination among the 15 and below aged groups that are getting that vaccination. Yes, most of the time we complain, like she said, before getting the real information we need, and this is why we dedicated this whole hour to that cause, to see that we all take our children for that vaccination. We have seen a lot of things, parents coming for their children from schools and things like that. We are going to discuss that, and on return from the break, the number will be on your screen there. Give us a call and ask the doctor direct so that you take an informed decision. Just after the break. Let us first take the break. Please call after the break. Thank you so much for watching.
The 2019 Rotary Singing and Dancing Competition is back, taking place Saturday 19th October at the Law Development Center Auditorium. Tickets available at 20,000 shillings only. To buy tickets online, go to purchase physical tickets at the entrance. For more information, call 0776 624 048 or 0752 614 048. See you there.
Yes, we thank you so much for watching. This is UBC TV, Pick a Point talk show. Our topic, our focus this evening, facts to do with the ongoing rubella vaccination in our beautiful country, Uganda. The target is to protect our children from this deadly kind of virus, but it had caused a number of complaints and concerns amongst us, and that's why we are dedicating this whole hour to get clarifications such that we protect our children. With me is Dr. Anne Akulo, a pediatrician.
Pediatrician.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we are getting to understand things. She's part of the whole program. That's why we are proud of having the authority from her. On your screen will be the number to call. As we continue with the discussion, let us not leave out your question when you can actually call and throw it in, and you get the answer direct from her. Doctor, we have also had complaints before in Uganda of vaccines that had issues, and actually even people came out and apologized, people that were involved.
Okay.
There is too much worry about the replica of the same in this case. You've told us about the vaccine and the technicalities to do with its quality, with the kind of vaccine it is. But tell us about its quality and safety.
Okay. So I'll start
for
by,
someone's child.
Okay. So I'll start by saying the vaccine is safe. And about its quality, it's effective. Now,
when you say safe, it sounds a blanket word, yes.
So how come you raised the issue of expiration? These vaccines actually were procured just a few months ago, okay, and just brought into the country for this campaign and going forward for the next, for the ongoing routine immunization. Now, the vaccine, the bottle itself, now all vaccines actually these days come with what we call a vaccine vial monitor, okay? So there is a monitor on it. I will borrow this.
No problem.
There is a monitor on it. It's like a box shaped, okay? That it's white in color, then it has a background, okay? And this is enough to tell you, even before you look at the expiration date, this is enough to tell you when we look at, so we look at the changes, it has different levels of changes that we monitor. And the person vaccinating can actually know immediately whether there's an issue or not, because there is something that actually now monitors that vaccine, and for all the vaccines they have that, and this is no exception. Okay. But this vaccine is not an expired vaccine. It's indeed a very quality vaccine and very viable vaccine. And but we, like I told you, we have done like lots of training of the health workers over the past couple of months, just training people and preparing them on how to handle the vaccine. how to prepare it, how to mix it. It actually comes with its own mixer. You don't get water from anywhere else. It comes with its own diluent, okay, to dilute it, okay, to mix it, okay. So it's specifically prepared and packed that way, and these health workers have been trained on how to handle it, how to mix it, how to prepare it, and then in addition it has that monitor on it that monitors the different steps of the vaccine. So you'd know, even before looking at the expiration date, you would know that probably there are changes happening in the vaccine, and the health workers know at what point to discard the vaccine, at what point to notify. So before using the vaccine, each vial is checked first. Yeah. So I'm just reassuring the public that this is a safe vaccine. It is not expired.
Maybe another worry is it being that actually, why was the choice to do it at school, to carry the exercise when people are at school?
So
because if you woke up on a Sunday where most of us are at home, I would have a chance to look at the bottle of the vaccine and things like that. Why did you people choose school time?
Okay, we have both day and boarding schools. Okay, so the boarding school children are not at home.
At school, who checks? There's one teacher and 100 children.
So the teachers are not vaccinating. The health workers are. And the health workers are checking these vaccines before they vaccinate. Yeah? So, like I told you, and these are the trained health workers who are checking these vaccines. The teachers are helping us mobilize the children, get them seated in their benches, maybe fill in their names. But the people doing the actual work of the vaccination are actually trained nurses and health workers who are doing this. Yeah.
When I carry my baby to Mulago for the normal immunization, as a mother, I'm involved.
Yes.
You get? This is something being done at school in our absence, the parents. So we are not involved. It's between the teacher and the health worker. Don't you think that's where probably maybe other reasons for concerns?
Okay. So the reason for one choosing the school, if you realize the bulk of the age group that is being targeted are in school, okay, and are easily accessible at school. And then before the campaign, the teachers were actually sensitized. They were taken through what the campaign is about, what rubella is, what measles is, what the vaccine is about, and they were to sensitize the parents, okay? So the parents were actually involved through the teachers sensitizing the parents, yeah? And they going to schools is accessing this age group that is being targeted, because this is the bulk of this age group is actually children in school, and they're easily accessible, and that's how, and the goal for this current campaign is to actually achieve 100% coverage, because we want to stop the measles rubella outbreak. If we do not achieve 100% coverage by getting the children wherever they will be found, and remember, for 16th to 18th, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's been in the schools. Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be in the communities to get all these children who were not got in school to be in the communities. So it's going to be at places of worship, it's going to be in our traditional hospitals where we vaccinate, both government and public and private hospitals. It's going to be in different outreach centers. The idea is to get every child, every person in the eligible group to get vaccinated, to achieve 100% vaccination, and that is the only way we can stop the current ongoing measles rubella outbreak. Without that, if we get a 50%, we shall not see an end to this outbreak.
So the age group that has not yet gone to school still will be found at home?
Yes, the age group that hasn't gone to school will be found in the community. And by community, I mean we have outreaches that are going to be, no one will have to walk over 1 kilometer to get to their vaccination points. So there are vaccination posts set within the community, and then also within the hospitals and the clinics that have been offering immunization. So immunization is literally happening everywhere.
So what happens to the children that are being that are under the age group? Somebody wants to talk to us here. Yes, hello? Hello? Okay, whoever wants to. Good evening, brother. How are you? Hello, we can hear you very clearly. Good evening, boss. Your name, where you're calling from, and your content.
I'm calling from
Chigumba, Chiriandongo district. Your name?
Yes. My question is, initially, this program has been going on door by door. The rest of us will go to law and unite it, then get the common issue in getting that we come to the family. So it's becoming hectic because most of the efforts are to connected. Thank you.
Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't get that.
So it says previously the health workers that administer the vaccination would go door to door and even mark the homes whose children have been immunized. But he says the health centers are being congested. Probably it even brings out the other concern I brought out of the parent not being involved at school. Briefly, okay. Yes, hello.
That person has dropped.
Okay, let us first handle the gentleman from Chigumba quickly.
Okay, previously the health workers were going to door, but lessons are learnt, okay, with time on how to do things. And this time the planning committee, this is not something that was woken up, somebody woke up and decided to do it. It's something that has been planned with experts and with regular meetings on how to carry out the vaccination. Like we said, it's not going to be only the health centers. The person from Chiriandongo shouldn't worry. It's not going to be only the health facilities that are going to be offering the immunization. Okay? During, on Saturday, Sunday, posts are going to be set up. So schools were prioritized 16th, 17th, 18th. So over the weekend, Saturday
Yes,
and
hello.
Sunday. Okay.
Hello? Hello? Yes, good evening, boss. Very good. So happy to hear from you. Who are we talking to and where you're calling from? Pardon?
They are from Tinda.
Okay. Yes, go on.
My question is, now,
Yes.
my question, all my concerns is, my doctor, one, there could be all companies if you make mistakes
You're not very clear, my brother. Can you turn off the TV set, please?
I haven't heard him.
You're killing your point. Your TV set is on. Gerard, your TV set can't allow us hear you clearly. So we can get your voice, but we cannot at all get to hear what you're saying. Doctor, you were winding up with
Yes,
the issue
I was
of the
winding
gentleman
up,
from
and
Chigumba.
I told him not to worry because come tomorrow and Sunday, the immunization posts are going to be in the both in the health facilities, but also within the community at designated outreach areas. So, like I said, no one will have to walk more than 1 kilometer to find an outreach site. So the health workers are going to be within all over the community in areas where people can come and get their children
Okay.
immunized.
Now,
Yes.
our dear callers, please first turn off the volume of your TV set so that you can communicate to us very clearly. We get your point and the doctor responds. That is exactly what our target is. Now, there is a technicality of children having been immunized against measles. So, isn't this a repetition and doesn't it have problems?
Okay.
taking another vaccine for measles. Technically, how good or bad is it?
So getting another vaccine for measles is
Is
good.
there too much of anything that is bad with immunization?
There is not too much of the vaccine, okay? Because, say, I give you a vaccine today, you produce soldiers, okay? And they are quiet and they're resting and they're there and there's no infection to trigger them to come out and fight. If I give you another vaccine, it actually even makes it... Sorry, someone...
Yes, hello. Good evening, sir. Speaking to who from Luero?
Yes, please. I haven't
Okay.
I went to money with an instruction querying that I pick up about the vaccine. After she was vaccinated, she came back home when she had breast.
When she had what? She came home having what?
Red eye.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Red eye. Red eye. Red eye.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Thank you too, boss.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you. Earlier on in the show, Michael asked me about if this vaccine had side effects. And I said this vaccine, like any other drug, has some side effects that are, most of them are mild and last a short time. And the side effects of this vaccine include fever, a mild fever, a skin rash, red eyes is one of them. So this red eyes was a side effect, would have been a side effect from the vaccine. But it's usually mild. It's not going to stay red forever and it will last a short time. But if he's worried, go to the nearest, the health worker nearest or the health post nearest to you. But this is an unexpected side effect and it will be mild and it will last a short while.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling, and I'm sure the doctor has answered you very well. Let us wind up with this issue of the technicality about having had an immunization or a vaccination earlier as a baby against the same problem, measles, and here comes another one.
Okay, so
At what age do we take, just a reminder, the vaccination for measles?
So, I'm glad you asked that question because I was worried that probably I wasn't going to cover some of the issues surrounding the campaign. So I will wind with your last question, but the measles vaccine is given at 9 months
Good.
of age.
So
Yeah?
at 1 year, 2 years, or 3, again you take another vaccination.
Yes, exactly.
Is there a problem with that?
There's actually no problem with that. There is just the advantage with that. I don't know if you're familiar with the word booster.
Yes.
The booster dose, okay? So booster is kind of like to boost what is already there, okay? Something is there, we're just making it better or more, okay? So you got your vaccine, so the child got the vaccine at 9 months of age. And say at 2 years, you give, this is kind of like reminding the body, and the body again mounts more, builds more soldiers. So you're actually just increasing the body's resistance
More so that
to the
there is a
disease.
problem.
Yes, you just remind it and it builds more soldiers and it makes your body even stronger, okay? So there is no too much, there is no overdose, okay? It's just kind of re-triggering your body to react or to respond to the disease, and hence it makes your immunity even stronger with the booster doses. That's why the booster doses are recommended. And regarding, I just want to clarify, regarding the routine immunization for measles rubella, it's at 9 months, okay? For this campaign, we are targeting from 9 months to under 15 years. And that is, like I explained clearly earlier, it's the age group that is most affected, the eligible, okay, or the age group at risk.
Let
That
this
is what
also
we are
be known.
vaccinating. Yes.
So is it going to be from this time onwards? Will it be part of our immunization package
From this time
forever?
onwards. So the reason for this campaign is 1, stop the measles rubella outbreak, but 2, introduce rubella vaccine as part of routine immunization.
Okay.
So going forward, from now on, Okay?
Every child.
Every child is going to get measles, rubella vaccine,
Okay.
not an isolated single measles vaccine, measles, rubella vaccine going forwards. So this is kind of like introduction into routine immunization as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akulo. I want you to give a message to the parent watching you with all the worry that they were having and what they should expect as
Okay.
we wind up.
All right, this is from me, a pediatrician who is really very passionate about children and who has treated children with measles, with congenital rubella syndrome, and with complications of both diseases. This is just requesting and urging and pleading to the mothers to get the children vaccinated, because these diseases, both measles and rubella, have no cure. The only way we can prevent these children from catching the disease that can be have lifelong impact is to get them vaccinated and hence protect them. And in vaccinating your child, you're not only helping your child, but you're helping the wider community and also the economy of the country, because treatment, I mean, is very expensive, and hence prevention is better than cure, because sometimes even after curing, you might end up with long-term side effects. So the vaccine is safe. It's effective. It has been widely researched. The health workers giving them are trained, and we are monitoring and surveilling for any side effects. And I just want to reassure you that we are giving a very effective vaccine. Hence, take your children for immunization at the different posts, and please allow us to vaccinate your children in the schools.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anne Akulo, a pediatrician and also Vice President of the Uganda Pediatricians Association. Now, our topic was facts about the ongoing rubella vaccination exercise. What are the facts? Yes, there is an ongoing vaccination. People that are sick, cancer patients, HIV patients, they're the only ones that are exempted.
No, HIV patients with severe immune suppression.
Oh, okay.
With severe suppression, so severely sick
Not all
children, not all.
Okay.
And cancer patients undergoing cancer therapy. So cancer patients and patients on treatment that reduces their immunity.
Okay.
Yes.
The other fact, the drugs are safe and of good quality for all our children. The other fact, there is a problem of rubella and measles, and our children need to be protected. Actually, that is the biggest fact. The other one, yes, they will get a slight problem after the vaccination, but it doesn't mean that this is something that will be permanent. Like the gentleman that called from Where, who said his daughter came home with red eyes. Yes, it will happen, but it will be mild, just as the doctor has clarified. So I think we should take our children to be vaccinated to protect them from bigger problems from now onwards. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumwa. Thanking you so much for having watched. Enjoy the news with Sharon. Good night. Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Okay.
The 2019 Rotary Singing and Dancing Competition is back, taking place Saturday 19th October at the Law Development Center Auditorium. Tickets available at 20,000 shillings only. To buy tickets online, go to purchase physical tickets at the entrance. For more information, call 0776 624 048 or 0752 614 048. See you there.
UBC TV is the only public broadcaster of choice.
We inform, educate, guide, and entertain.
We bring you news as it is, wherever it is happening in real time.
We take you faraway places from border to border.
We keep you up to date wherever you are.
In the languages of Kiswahili, Luganda,
And English.
UBC TV,
Inspiring Uganda.
A very good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for UBC News tonight at 10 p.m. My name is Sharon Chomdesha with Nakone Elizabeth on Sign Language. Let's take a look at the top stories of the day. Now, the Anti-Corruption Court has charged and remanded Chief Administrative Officer of NAPAC, Mbagwa Mwonge Abdul Noor. Appearing before an anti-corruption in Kampala, Mwonge pleaded not guilty to corruption-related cases after he allegedly conspired to defraud government 176.7 million Ugandan shillings last financial year while he was still the Chief Administrative Officer of Albetong District. Well, I guess congratulations to him. Moving on from that, the Deputy IGP Sabiti Mzee says police is in advanced stages of implementing the 10 plans by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni about fighting crime. This is in response to President Yoweri Museveni's concern about the recent spate of crimes, especially in urban areas. Details follow.
Museveni, through his social media platform on Tuesday, expressed about rampant incidents of murder and robbery, especially in the Kampala metropolitan area. Museveni also ordered the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Mzee Sabiti, to address the future plans of police to handle rampant crimes.
That is Kampala, Mukono, Wakiso, as well as other areas where it manifests.
Responding to the directive, Major General Sabiti said police is in advanced stages of implementing the 10-point plan President Museveni issued last year to security agencies to combat crime.
The revised approach is premised on 5 measures. 1. Linkage with and effective communication with the public, as well as public awareness. Each family in a zoned area of responsibility shall be given a telephone line of the nearest station or post. The public is encouraged to share all relevant information on all matters of security, including distress calls. We shall put suggestion boxes at the stations and...
Sabiti says police will embark on strategies like expediting investigations and prosecution of culprits.
To this end, we require a more robust and dedicated prosecution and judicial setup. Government will discuss modalities with the judiciary and the DPP.
With the recent recruitment of a local defense unit by the army, over 2,000 suspects are being detained, according to the commander of the land forces, Lieutenant General Peter Elwelu.
The problem is the courts. They are taken to court, then they find themselves back in the public. That's where the problem is, and that's why we need to deal with the issue of the court. When we get these criminals, they should be really handled. Otherwise, we send them there, court send them back to them, and all these people have been captured with the evidence.
And they are part of the quick reaction forces. So we shall have to review the concept of operation of the LDUs. And as I said, I will answer up to that level.
President Museveni promised to respond to the plans addressed by the Deputy Inspector General of Police. Daniel Mugoya reporting for UBC.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is to partner with top Chinese movie production companies to improve its content. This was disclosed during a visit by a delegation from China Radio and Television Department alongside Daylight Entertainment Company as they paid a courtesy visit to the corporation to showcase their content and how the national broadcaster can tap into the talent to improve Uganda's film industry. The Deputy Managing Director UBC, Maurice Mugesha, hosted the guests.
Based on DJ mixes, entertainment shows.
UBC was very fortunate today to receive a delegation from the China Radio and Television Department. The department had with them 4 different production houses that produce series, dramas and movies. We were very fortunate to be shown some of the content they've produced, and they even immediately offered to provide this content for UBC to share on their platforms. We appreciated the interest in working with UBC, first of all. We also did appreciate their interest to share their content with us. And we were amazed at the quality, we were amazed at the storylines that are available. It's really almost what our audiences have been asking for. But we had also our interests as UBC. One was that we can work with them on joint productions, where they could actually send teams here or send part of their production houses here to be able to produce content on Uganda, about Uganda, our culture, our tourism, and that was an area of interest for us. We also thought that it would be an opportunity for them, through what we had watched and seen with the quality of production, to build our skill and work with our staff to try and improve our production capacity.
Today I bring the Chinese government team and some media company to UBC. The purpose is establish the partnership and exchange the ideas. Maybe in the near future we can work together, and make some more changes and improvement between China and Uganda about the dramas, the TV series, like that. Yeah, that's all.
Government through Ministry of Ethics and Integrity has given more time for consultations among stakeholders on the religious faith organizations policy in Uganda. The State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Reverend Father Simon Lokodo, says the policy is meant to protect Ugandans from being exploited and manipulated by dishonest persons. Let's take a look.
Government, through the Ministry of Ethics and Integrity, has called on religious and faith-based organizations to embrace the 2016 National Policy for Religious and Faith-Based Organizations for Self-Regulation. Leaders of the born-again faith previously requested President Yoweri Museveni to intervene and save them from this policy they say infringes on their rights as pastors. The policy, in its present form, does not point a finger at any religious or faith organization, but targets individuals who abuse the trust of their followers.
Organizations register themselves as NGOs, they register themselves as trustees, they register themselves as companies, which is not their identity. Therefore, there is a need for them to be moved out of those structures of government of registration and give them their specific way of registering and therefore eventually also their monitoring and vetting.
The policy also aims at regulating mushrooming churches because spirituality of some pastors is questionable, with some focusing on self-enrichment, others cult-like tendencies, which Father Lokodo says are exploitative.
It's about individuals, not about entities. If you want to say that this is reserved and limited only to born-agains, how about Father Chigotere, Catholic, who killed the people in Kanungu? They fear that one or two of our pastors, religious leaders, focus more on self-enrichment than that of really feeding spiritually the faithful. This, unfortunately, is the worst phenomenon. That's why I'm talking of exploitation, of manipulation, extortion. In order to get a blessing, you must pay so much. That is not acceptable.
However, the lawyer of Prophet Elvis Mbonye's ministries questions why Operation Wealth Creation has been extended to churches.
Now for us who are from a prophetic ministry, mysticism is our life, prophecy is our life, supernatural manifestation of wealth is our life. You've just heard from the press conference Reverend Canon Aaron Mwesige saying that they are very much bothered as to why pastors drive expensive cars. Why should it be their problem?
This policy has largely been accepted. A big number of stakeholders to Elvis Mbonye's ministries, it is irrelevant given other civil regulations.
And the majority of the born-agains, the most umbrella churches, that one of Bishop Noire, Apostle Serwada, whom we know, they all support this. They only want to go deep to their constituencies to make more consultations so that they can buy in the policy. But the few people who are actually coming in, they fear. Maybe they are not doing the right thing, because why do I fear for a constitution?
Policy. One of them being the lack of formal training, then the corruption, the lack of accountability, then the high moral decadence within the church. What we are saying is that the government, other than spending money and resources to create a new policy, what it needs to do is to enforce the existing policy. We have enough penal laws, the Penal Code Act, we have the Anti-Corruption Act, we have the Anti-Money Laundering Act, we have a lot of international laws to cater for the same. Uganda will be violating its international legal obligations because Uganda says that it respects the freedom of religion and worship. But with this policy, it's going to be muzzling the very freedoms which are provided for under the international laws. So as such, the policy is actually very, very irrelevant.
A high-level validation meeting for stakeholders planned for this Thursday to consult on the policy was postponed to pave way for more discussions among religious faith organizations. I'm Navka Farida and Sana Anet in Kampala.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development requires about 80 billion Ugandan shillings to resettle street children all over the country. Now, the Commissioner for Youth and Children's Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mondo Choteka, says his ministry, working with partners, has removed children from Kampala streets. Take a look.
Uganda has an estimated 15 to 20,000 children living on the streets. Recently, government released funds to the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to resettle Kampala street children.
A number of other children were transited through Campaign Nisa and through Koblin Youth Center and have been resettled back where they came from. Majority of the children were from Karamoja, but there are few others who were from other parts of the country and they have equally been resettled. We are equally mounting surveillance, working with Kampala State Council, working with Uganda Police Force to ensure that no new cases return.
According to the study by Makerere University-based AfriChild Center, many factors ranging from domestic violence, poverty in homes and mistreatment push some of the children to the streets. The case in point is this 18-year-old Eddie, not real name, who moved to the streets after having a religious misunderstanding with his father.
Let's go again. I was, when I went in the body, he said, I went to come back when I got saved from there, then I came back home. When I reached home, I told the father, now we're going again, what? Then he used to send me, like in the market, like buying him these things like, how could I call it, this tobacco for using this smoking pipe. So he used to send me various things. Then I told him, Daddy, these things you send me for, I'm born again.
The Executive Director, AfriChild Center, Timothy Opobo, is of the view that government needs to move faster to resettle and rehabilitate street children because they can be a threat to the country's development.
These children who were estimating to be between 15,000 to 20,000 in the street today are going to become a social problem. And when I say social problem, they are going to be the ones that are leading in crime. Already we are seeing that recently the president has tasked police to deal with the issue of gangs. If you look at the root cause of where these gangs emerged, it is many of these children on the street. So they are becoming a security threat and they will automatically become a political threat. Economically, they are not going to be able to contribute to the economic development of this country because they don't have the necessary skills and knowledge to make that contribution. And so it is important that we address their needs today.
Government has pledged to allocate more funds to the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to resettle all street children. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news for you.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
The two-day symposium will look at the latest intellectual property rights within the Internet of Things, uncovering the impact it has on innovation and development. Discussants will cover areas in pharmaceutical, big data, telecoms, ISPs, banking and insurance, government, energy and automotive. The main purpose of the conference is to examine the best ways in which to use knowledge and innovation to boost youth employment and foster the adoption of new technologies under the theme Innovation and the Internet of Things. Book now online at www.symposium.iptech.com. Registration for local delegates is $150 and $200 for international delegates. Happening on Thursday 24th to Friday 25th October 2019 at Speak Resort and Conference Center, Kampala. For further inquiries, contact Juliet on 0712 139 916.
You can touch it. You can touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Betacool. Betacool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Betacool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
This weekend on UBC.
My name is Mkayo Hannington, winner of the NSSF Friends with Benefits Season 2. Congratulations, Hannington! I used my winnings to boost my agricultural production and give a chance to the people in my community to work.
So join us this year for the third season of the NSSF Friends with Benefits, as 16 Ugandans share inspirational stories on how they use their NSSF benefits to do life-changing things. So tune in every Sunday with your host, Gaetano, and I, and special new host, Uncle D. It's another incredible display. It's the NSSF Friends with Benefits.
And that's not all. You have the power to vote for your favorite stories to win up to 55 million shillings, just like Huntington. This show is brought to you by
NSSF, a better life.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In more stories, in a bid to support Ugandans to overcome poverty, U.S. Best Ugandan, in partnership with citizens from U.S. California, have introduced the project Pathways to Help Africa, and aimed at supporting especially the rural community to fight poverty by engaging in profit-making projects like poultry, farming, among others. Now, this project has been introduced to the communities of Chichusa sub-county in Luweero district by the USA Best Ugandan Tibitha Chamba Day at a function held at Senyomo B, LC1 in Chichusa.
A delegation from California, along with Ugandans based in USA, are in the country to support rural community to overcome poverty through various developmental projects, especially poultry, farming, among others. The delegation, led by a USA-based Ugandan, Tibitha Chambade, have visited Senyomo LC1 in Chichusa sub-county, Luweero district, where the project Pathways to Hope Africa project aims at poverty alleviation is being piloted. The guests were led by the chairman LC1 Senyomo B, Zephania Chiza Seninde, among other chairpersons from Chichusa sub-county. Seninde encouraged the communities to own these projects, be transparent and trustworthy, and avoid politicizing them, among other related issues which disrupt development.
From US, and their main purpose here is to fight poverty. Nothing like politics, and we don't want that one. We want to make Senyomo and the whole sub-county a smart village.
The founder, Pathways to Hope Africa, Tibitha Chambade, revealed that the project is also to change the mindset of the rural community, and said that Senyomo is going to be their pioneer model village. She said the program will not only target poultry, but will also promote agricultural value addition and security. She therefore encouraged the people to embrace it.
Senyomo to promote the smart village concept, which is a project that is aimed at fighting poverty among villagers. And the concept is going to address health care, the healthcare.
It's really impressive seeing the people that are working with the poultry every day, and to see how enthusiastic they are and how much knowledge they are. And I know, speaking for Sarai and myself, I know we're learning just as much from them as hopefully we'll be able to impart that knowledge that we have.
Bella Masangano and Salongo Kasibante for UBC News.
Thank you, Bella and Mr. Kasibante. In more stories, the National Environmental Management Authority Executive Director Dr. Tom Okrut has clarified about the impasse involving Chinese investors Zhongbank, blamed for encroaching on Jandira Village, Kayawe Parish, Nkosi Sub-County in PG District. Chinese Chamber of Industry Chairperson Philip Ruan appeals to his countrymen to maintain parameters provided by authority rather than encroaching, especially in wetlands. Details for that.
We did the soil study to find out and we confirm and what use could this land be. Somebody says I can improve that margin land, make it of value to the country, and we approve the rice growing very carefully, meticulous that this does not flush into the lake. The water that comes from there is just within the gardens and circulated pit fertilizer, and you see the rice there. Now you come and say that that was a wrong decision because yes, we are. I mean, myself, the knowledge in wetlands is what that's my center of knowledge. We are not very stupid people to go and approve or destroy wetlands the way people think. That was marginal land. Nwera is not a wetland, all of it. It's not one system. There are many systems there. Okay? There are many systems in there. So we have utilized part of it which had a low value, well, added value by putting rice growing. And how many people are going to be employed there, what's the productivity and whatever. That should be commended.
We get this problem and we read the news in the newspaper yesterday. So that's why Ambassador of China also sent me comment, check what happened in this ground. So when I meet here, I find actually they use some land of wetland there, but not too much place. So we should find a solution with our local leader and NEMA. So how can we recover this environment here?
Now, 26 couples have this Friday been wedded at All Saints Cathedral Nakasero in Kampala. The Archbishop of Church of Uganda, His Grace Stanley Ntagali, officiated the first corporate wedding by Kampala Diocese. Details follow.
Within the love of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
All Saints Cathedral Nakasero was the place to be as scores of couples took their holy matrimony vows. It was a cheerful moment as couples walked down the aisle at an honorable event officiated by the head of the Anglican Church in Uganda, His Grace Archbishop Stanley Ntagali. In his sermon, Archbishop Ntagali urged the newlyweds to respect their vows, emphasizing that marriage is between a man and a woman.
You know, in our world today, there are people who are becoming crazy. They are misinterpreting this verse. They are saying, okay, that's a thing of the past. A man can marry man, a woman can marry woman. I don't want to see this in the Church of Uganda until Jesus comes again. That's being crazy. So I want to thank these men that have married women. Congratulations. And for you women who have been married to men, that's God's order. Marriage is between a man and a woman. So we don't want to entertain, and I want to pray that the Parliament will receive this debate again and debate it and pass it, because that's not Ugandan, that's not African, it is Western, it is unbiblical, and we deny it in the name of Jesus. So Adam was up, and these men, you can see.
Ntagali also reminded the couples that once God blesses them with children, they should graciously carry out their parenting role.
The children, love them. Now we are appealing to the church, and the church and the whole nation to love children, because we need to give them a strong foundation. When we love them, when our homes are homes of sanity and serenity, when there is peace and security, these children are being given a strong foundation, and it begins from your home. It begins from you. And even when God gives you children to cater for, love them as your children, because they are leaders of tomorrow for the church and for the nation. So I want to...
Jocelyn Rugunda, the wife of Premier Ruhakana Rugunda, represented the First Lady Mrs. Janet Museveni at the corporate wedding. She urged the couples to respect each other for the success of their family obligations.
The words of marriage vows you have just exchanged are so simple yet so profound. To love and to honor each other for the rest of your lives. For better, for worse, for richer, for poor, till death do us part.
Kampala Diocese Mothers Union President Jole Kamishani and Fathers Union President Engineer Ronald Kibuka Mubiru graced the occasion.
Let's call out. Let's make a call so that people can put their marriages right and therefore strengthen their love, their commitment, their faithfulness together to the Lord. And when they have strengthened their families, when they have come to the Lord, then they will be able to parent well.
The main purpose was to encourage men and women who are cohabiting to legalize their marriages, and they be in a holy matrimony so that we can...
The Mayor Katabi Town Council Ronald Kalema Basamula Ekede wants equality in the nurturing of both the male and girl child. According to social researchers, this could be a result of poverty and failure to provide. Others say they are tormented by their wives, while others think that men are haunted and is part of the original sin. Take a look.
The Secretary Men of Focus Ministries International, Pastor Maurice Bazibu, has criticized men for abandoning their domestic responsibilities. This was at the launching of a think tank organization codenamed Men of Focus Ministries International.
Was the man, and this is exactly what is happening in fact, in a situation where in whatever we consider important, we don't see men. You don't see men in, when we're at parenting level. We don't see men when kids are going to school. You find very few men. You don't see men. In fact, you find more women in school now. You find more women helping children, even in the house, teaching them the basics about God.
The Mayor of Katabi Town Council, Ronald Kalema Basamulekere, while launching the new think tank, Men of Focus Ministries International, said that successful leaders have not put up interventions aimed at nurturing and coaching men about their fundamental roles and rights.
Was giving so much opportunities to women because we are seen as vulnerable some time back, forgetting that as we are promoting women, the final consumers are men. So let us come back as men and understand our responsibilities, because the Bible gives us it all.
The chairman of Men of Focus Ministries International, George Wilson Mgirwa, says that the vision to start the Man Empowerment Project was inspired by a system failure among men's domestic capabilities.
Of men is working for their benefit. Once man assumes his position and responsibilities, the result will be a stable, happy, peaceful, and prosperous family.
The organization will be focusing on offering counseling and mentoring men.
If we can have one man to show leadership at simple influence level, we can see the change that this. So we are not looking at changing the entire country in 1 minute, but if we can have 1-2 men changing.
Moving on from that, the resident District Commissioner Mitiana Ishan Tumwa has embarked on a campaign of arresting land blockers in the district because they contribute a lot to the increasing land wrangles, among other land-related issues in the area. The RDC says that any land blocker who will be caught selling land twice to different people and getting money from more than one person to sell a piece of land that will be dealt with in courts of law.
wrangles, among other related issues, despite the land law in Mityana district, have been noted as a result of fake land brokers who sell land and get money from different people to buy one piece of land. Therefore, the resident district commissioner Mityana Ishan Tumwa revealed that his office has already embarked on arresting all land brokers who will be found guilty on issues of land which are against the land law.
On many occasions and many times that most of the land conflicts we have in Mityana are a result of land brokers in the district. They are the ones who are confusing the population. In fact, I have already invited all of them in my office for a discussion, and I have warned these people here, as they are going into the understanding of the land law, they should avoid involving land brokers. We have a very, very serious problem of land brokers.
The RDC made the remarks while at Mfumbia village in Busuju, Mityana district, during the meeting aimed at solving the wrangles between the landlord Charles Chagaba and over 2,000 Bibanja holders. The Bibanja holders petitioned to State House complaining of their landlord charging them money to recover the loan of 137 million shillings got from the bank applied by the former landlord in 2005. The wrangles between the landlord Charles Chagaba and the tenants started when Chagaba asked the Bibanja holders to pay 1 million shillings each per acre, and the tenants were requesting to pay 50,000 shillings instead. The meeting, chaired by the legal officer from State House, Judith Oloma, and attended by, among others, former area member of parliament Vincent Nyanzi and the RDC Ishan Tumwa, resolved that each tenant should pay 170,000 shillings per acre to recover the 137 million shilling loan. State House legal officer Oloma Judith and the former member of parliament Vincent Nyanzi commended the two parties for the resolutions and encouraged them to follow what has been decided.
Okuyingira okufuna ekyapa mu mannyago mwaliko ebiwaayiro nti oba bw'ofuna ekyapa kiri mu mannyago odda mu bantu bano ne muteesa bakusasula essente ze wanunula ettaka kubanga ebbanja eryo oluvannyuma kifuukanga kugula.
Ensonga eno n'ofiisi ya pulezidenti ne tulaba pulezidenti asobola okulagira minisitule w'eby'ettaka ssente ezo ne zitwanguyizibwa abantu bano ne basobola okusasula nga beegula bo ne basasula gavumenti mikola.
Retirement is a fact of life which majority of employees who get enrolled into public service cannot do without. But when majority of public servants reach retirement age, few of them are prepared for it, which leads to many of them misusing their retirement benefits and end up dying in a life of misery. Take a look.
Luweero District Chief Administrative Officer Godfrey Kuruhira has asked the officers who are due for retirement to remain productive.
To look at retirement as a good thing. To look at retirement as not the end of work, but retirement as a beginning of another phase in life.
Kuruhira advises the retiring civil servants to invest their package in Luweero District because the district is developing very fast.
Time you plan on how you will survive, how you will manage yourself. While previously you've been having people managing you, directing you, appraising you, setting targets for you, in retirement you set your targets as an individual, you appraise yourself, and therefore you are a master of your own.
The Principal Human Resource Officer, Luweero District, Bernard Okello, wants the retirees to invest in businesses they have knowledge of.
Before you invest, though you are saying they advise you that don't keep money, invest. Let that urge for money first settle down.
A member to Luweero District Service Commission, Sulaiman Habib, advised retirees not to trust anyone with their hard-earned retirement packages and pension.
So one should actually be very careful with the friends and relatives and keep the information about the pension very secretive.
The civil servants who are selected to retire disclose their future plans while in retirement.
We'll be carrying out the poultry project, which I have already started.
I'll be busy doing handwork, for example, mats.
The first ever induction workshop for Luweero District local government employees who are due for retirement attracted over 40 participants.
In our business stories, the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority is facing a human resources crisis. Available statistics indicate that in the field of air traffic controllers alone, there is a deficit of over 50 staff as it currently counts from 100 offices. This was disclosed during the Air Traffic Controllers Association at the commemoration of the International Air Traffic Controllers Day at Old Kampala Secondary School.
Members of the Uganda Air Traffic Controllers Association have marked the International Air Traffic Controllers Day at a ceremony held at Old Kampala Secondary School. This is in a campaign aimed at attracting the public to appreciate the profession and embrace the opportunities that exist in the ever-growing industry.
Crested 112 Airborne at time 1255, passing flight level 06043. Crested 112, Roger, observed on the left turn, contact radar 11, question, contact radar 126.6, good flight.
The Deputy Director General of Civil Aviation Authority, Fred Mwesige, says Uganda's aviation industry has for long had a deficit in human resources despite the growth of the industry. The Director Air Navigation Services, Richard Rohezi, attributes the growth to the global confidence in Uganda's good aviation policies.
We have new systems, new airports, the growth of business, the entire growth of the economy. Generally, aviation is always linked to the GDP.
It is against this backdrop that Uganda Aviation Authority is calling for public uptake of opportunities by enrolling in the different aviation fields.
The aviation industry in Uganda is expanding. As you know, we recently launched Uganda Airlines. It will need pilots, it will need other aviation workers, and we shall have also to expand on aviation facilities like airports, where we shall need air traffic controllers, among other professions that we need.
By 1991, the number of passengers through Uganda was about 120,000 annually, a status that has since grown to about 1.8 million. Dorcas Kimono and Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC TV News.
In our international stories, the new deal is largely the same as the one agreed by Theresa May last year, but it removes the controversial backstop clause which critics say could have kept the UK tied indefinitely to EU customs rules. Northern Ireland would remain in the UK's customs union under the new agreement, but there will also be customs checks on some goods passing through en route to Ireland and the EU's single market. The winning post for votes in the House of Commons is 320 if everyone turns up. 7 Sinn Féin MPs do not sit and the Speaker and the 3 deputies do not vote. There are currently 287 voting Conservative MPs. Now the Prime Minister needs to limit any rebellion among them.
The European Union's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier has just held a press conference in Brussels to provide more details on what was agreed to the new Brexit deal. Northern Ireland remains in the United Kingdom's customs territory, but all EU procedures will apply to goods arriving there in this complex system. Unlike the backstop solution in the original deal that was rejected by the British Parliament, this system wouldn't be replaced by a new free trade deal between Britain and the EU. That makes a big concession from the EU. Both sides are aiming for an ambitious free trade agreement after Brexit with no tariff and unlimited quotas.
Palestinians in Gaza Strip are turning rooftops into urban farms. This innovation is as a result of lack of land and due to insecurity prevailing in the area.
Once dependent on international aid for his needs, Palestinian Rafiq Al-Zuwaidi is now able to support his family by planting the rooftop of his small house in the Beit Hanun refugee camp located in northern Gaza Strip. These lemon and orange trees have become his main income.
Here in Gaza, we have a shortage of citrus trees. So I thought, why not create an alternative to make up for the shortage of the agricultural lands? I used the roof of my house to grow citrus trees, as you see, with existing capabilities. And now I get more than 80% of our needs from this farm.
Grappling with extreme poverty and a lack of arable land, local and international institutions in Gaza have been encouraging residents to plant crops on their roofs to earn an income. Ma'an Development Center is trying to help Palestinians feed themselves. The center is transforming rooftops into farms. More than 1,000 poor families are participating. They are growing crops for personal consumption and for sale.
The idea of urban agriculture came mainly because of the lack of agricultural land in the Gaza Strip. We tend to use rooftops because of the declining land allocated for farming, as well as to contribute to enhancing food security for the poorest families.
By generating income through urban agriculture, the project also aims to promote self-sufficiency, economic empowerment, and community pride. Saeed Abu Nasser is not very different from Al-Zuwaidi. He also grew crops on his roof, boosting his family's income. The Food and Agriculture Organization taught Abu Nasser the basics. He told CGTN that now he grows mint, basil, watercress and tomatoes.
I got training from the FAO in urban agriculture. I grow vegetables which I need, and now I'm self-sufficient. We developed a rooftop planting project and we planted another plot of more than 200 square meters. We consume the vegetables we grow and the rest we sell on the market.
Experts say urban agriculture in Gaza reuses existing and neglected urban resources, enables economy members to obtain fresh and safe food, and creates wealth and jobs in a territory where the majority of residents live in poverty.
According to UNAIDS report on HIV and AIDS in Uganda, there are 1,000 new infections every week and 500 deaths per week. In bid to fight the scourge, development partners are working hand in hand with Uganda Boxing Federation to create more awareness on HIV and AIDS under the theme Box HIV/AIDS Out of Uganda, a campaign targeting boxers and fans who overwhelm the sport to watch box tussle out in the ring during competitions. Now, Dr. Karusa Chiragu, UNAIDS country director, explains that her organization works towards meeting the goal of elimination of HIV and AIDS by 2030. Take a look.
We're doing it because HIV is still a problem in Uganda. I think you may know that there's 1,000 new infections every week in Uganda. That's a huge number, and there's 500 deaths every week in Uganda. So we feel that it's important for us to focus on HIV, to really draw attention to people that this is still a problem in Uganda. HIV has gone underground, and it has gone underground because people are taking medicine, but it's still with us. It's not finished yet, and we want to continue to highlight that. UBF are offering us a platform to reach men, to reach fans. We have thousands and thousands of fans, so we want to reach those fans and also work with boxers as ambassadors moving forward to end HIV in Uganda by 2030.
Once the staff from boxing is in his community, then he can easily advocate for this kind of campaign. Because not every single day we shall be on radio or in these platforms. So we need to have physical people on the ground doing the same work that we're doing. Just like you're going to amplify our voices as the media, but it's going to run maybe for a day or two. So we want someone to continuously keep on reminding our communities for where to seek these services from and what they need to do. Then also, we are creating a system where we'll have maybe sort of like toll-free numbers where people can call for more guidance from these partners of ourselves. So it's easier to communicate these messages and have everyone succumb to them. So that was the explanation for this time around.
Today, Federation of Africa University Sports Workshop has started in Kampala on the theme of an updated sports manager. Now, the major aim of this that has attracted participants from countries like Kenya, South Africa and Botswana is to address the gender gap in sports competition and management. It's a precursor to the inaugural Kings of Rugby series the Makerere University hosts that starting on Saturday.
Reflection of the entire global space, which is the world. And I think challenges of the gender gap exist throughout. However, we've made it our responsibility to ensure that we start ensuring that what we do for boys, we will also do for girls. So, as from next year, as you know, we will be having the first games in Kenya. We will ensure that for all the sporting codes that we're going to have, we will have for both boys and girls, and in this instance, men and women, because whether we like it or not, women are an integral part of our communities, and therefore it is our responsibility to try and accelerate the emancipation and participation. And also I think it is key for us to ensure that we develop the next layer of leadership, because students are the future leaders, and as administrators we need to ensure that we groom the next layer of leadership.
Uganda's Netball Federation President Susan Anek has been voted on the African Netball governing body. Now, Anek is now the Vice President in charge of development and the first Ugandan to hold such a position. So proud of her. Anek was contesting with one from Zimbabwe who stepped down, giving way to Anek to go through unopposed. Take a look.
And the proposal, since I'm a little bit longer on the system, and they saw that since I'm the only one who come from the other zone, zone 4, that is the East Africa level, and they said how we can help to bring development to that side, because apparently now it was Uganda only that was on the team of the Africa. But now with the joint effort that we started on earlier together, Kenya is now on, Tanzania is on, Burundi is on. So we hope to bring more. So that was already part of the development that we are bringing many other members closer, that we are just going to continue from where they have stopped. The former team or committee has been very useful, very helpful, and I happened, luckily enough, to be with them from the day one when they started the work. And I've known many sites, and very apparently from the teams that were selected, I think I'm the oldest.
Now take a look at weather by Alex Kim Semper.
Here we are again with the latest in weather from the Weather Center with Semper Alex Kim, only here on UBC TV. By 9 a.m. this morning, Bududa reported 130.3 millimeters of rainfall. This was quite high and has a lot of implications for the people in the region. Otherwise, the eastern was quite active with Jinja at 48.5 millimeters and Tororo 97.2 millimeters of rainfall. This was because of the alignment of the rain belt over our region. Otherwise, tomorrow we should see most parts of the country have chances of rainfall, especially the eastern. The western is expected to have sunny intervals. However, in the afternoon, we do expect a continuation of wet weather activities across the country, apart from Kampala and Lira, where sunny intervals are expected. Temperatures are expected to range between 22 degrees Celsius in Kabale to 28 degrees Celsius in Kasese, while Kampala at 26 degrees Celsius. Elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting for Lagos as well as Doha chances of rainfall, whereas Pretoria is expected to have sunny intervals at 34 degrees Celsius. That will be quite high. That concludes it for today. Stay tuned to UBC TV. I remain Semper Alex Kim.
Thank you, Alex Kim Semper, for the weather updates. Now we'll take a final look at the headlines. Police chiefs respond to directive on crimes. UBC-Chinese partnership to improve content. more stories, 80 billion Ugandan shillings needed to resettle street children. And lastly, in our sports news, Boxing Federation to spearhead HIV and AIDS fight. We had for you at UBC News tonight. My name is Sharon Chondisha with Nakwan Elizabeth on sign language. From the team and I, have a lovely night and do stay tuned for more programming coming your way.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
The 2019 Rotary